Welcome back to this week's edition of the Home Straight. Happy Inter-Dominion Week. The time has finally come and we've got a big few weeks starting at the Creek this Saturday night. We're going to talk about the Saturday night fields, Chris. There's a lot of really, really good races, isn't there?
Oh, Taylor, it's a magnificent program coming up this Saturday night. 10 races in total, 5 of which are Inter-Dominion heats, 3 for the Pacers, 2 for the Trotters. The 2 big guns in the pacing series, they clash in round 1. And I'm looking forward to this clash between Leap to Fame and the Janitor. They clashed a couple of weeks ago. Leap to Fame won by a neck margin over the Janitor. This time, Leap to Fame draws inside of the Janitor, so I'm looking forward to this battle again. So this is part of a massive night on Saturday night. 3 pacing heats, 2 for the Trotters, the series favourite Gus. He draws perfectly in barrier number 2. All heats on Saturday night will be over 2,138 metres. So they're the 5 Inter-Dominion heats. We've got 2 Group 1 features. The Rising Sun, this is going to be an awesome race. When you look at that front line for the Rising Sun, who knows how this race is going to play out. We've got the Great Square as well, Racing and Sports sponsoring the Rising Sun. Yabby Dam Farms on board with the Great Square. And that's anyone's race. You've only got to look at the market. I think it was $4 the field straight after the barrier draw there on Monday night. So they're the 2 Group 1 features. Southeast Derby, Southeast Oaks, and then we've got the Wayne Wilson Memorial Paleface Adios Classics. So they're our 10 races on Saturday night. It is mouth-watering. And it's interesting. Last Saturday night, we had several horses stepping out. A number of horses were going a certain way, and after their performances, whether they won, lost or drew, they just deviated a little bit. Nimble was one in particular. They were keen to go to the Rising Sun. In the end, they didn't even nominate for the Rising Sun. They're going to concentrate on the Derby. So he'll start in the Southeast Derby. The Queensland Derby is the main target for him, but this is going to be a cracking night on Saturday night.
It looks to be a sensational program, that's for sure. If you can join us trackside, please make sure you do. Now, Don Hugo, he was a laid out from the Inter-Dominion Series, Chris?
Yeah, he was the notable omission when those fields were declared. Disappointing news for owner Tony LaCastro and trainer driver Luke McCarthy. So just a little setback following his most recent victory, scored by that narrow margin at Menangle in sub 50. Just a little bit of a concern just around that ankle area. And Luke McCarthy basically said, if you're not at 110% when you're racing Leap to Fame, you shouldn't be going around. So he just erred on the side of caution, had a lengthy chat with Tony LaCastro, and they just felt that this was the best decision. They were putting the horse first, and they said, we just can't take any chances with him, and they're not going to take on Leap to Fame. Not at their best. So he's the omission from the series now. It's a big out, but it's still loaded with class. But hopefully he won't be out of action for too long, and we might even see him back here during the summer like he was last year, winning the Blacks a Fake.
You have an update on Sao Paulo Simba, Chris?
Yeah, of course, he was aiming towards the Rising Sun. He got left out of that race. His form's been very, very good. He's won 6 of his last 10. He eclipsed the record, the 3-year-old record at Menangle, which was previously held by Leap to Fame, mind you. And he's got good form against Sinaloa and Final Deadline, but he just didn't make the cut. So that just put his plans in a little bit of disarray now. Mick Stanley was hoping to come up, tackle the Rising Sun, and then those 4-year-old features. So they're just weighing up their options, whether it's worth the trip now to come up for those other 4-year-old features or just keep him in Sydney and keep him in his groove down there. So naturally they were disappointed. There were several horses that got left out. There was huge nominations for the Rising Sun, but he just missed out. But we'll wait and see. Whether he goes around next week or on the final night, time will tell. But yeah, Connections left a little disappointed there.
What about Always Be Cool, Chris? He was sensational on Saturday night.
Oh, he was huge. He was the story of the night last Saturday night. Raced by Peter and Leah Jackson. Shane Graham trains and drives this son of Always Be Mickey. And to consider that he's had such limited experience on the racetrack, to produce a run like that behind Cool and Classy in the Queensland Sun. He was another one that was nominated for the Rising Sun. They thought they'd done enough following that run behind Cool and Classy last week. They missed out. They didn't go to the Constellation. They're going to go to the original plan. Originally they said we'll target the JC McMullen. So they're going to stick to that now. So expect to see him start throughout the carnival, but they're just going to lower their sights. They were thinking big after last week, hoping to get a start on the Rising Sun. They're going to go back to their original plan, and the JC McMullen will be his next start.
What about Artemis, Chris?
Yeah, he was another one from Victoria that was being considered for the Queensland campaign. Night 1 on Saturday night. His target race was the Group 1 Great Square for Yabby Dam Farms. So Aaron Dunn was hoping to get a little bit of, a heads up whether he'd make the field or not. And there was no guarantees because nominations weren't being taken until Monday this week. This was a phone call that took place late last week. So he just thought if he could get a little bit of a heads up, given how far he is from Melbourne, he could hit the road nice and early and get him up here. He's won his last couple at Melton. He's a trotter that's in very good form, but unfortunately, we won't see him. They just kept him in Victoria, and they're going to push towards some Vicbred features later in the year. But he would have been a very interesting runner if they had chosen to come north, because when you look at the evenness of that field, he would have added plenty of intrigue, but we won't get to see him this time.
What about Ideal Frankie, Chris? Will we see him in the Proto Star?
Yep, locked away. She was unbelievable winning that feature at Melton last Saturday night by a huge margin. So we had Have-Time Major win by that massive margin on debut last week, and the filly Ideal Frankie won by just as big a margin as what Have-Time Major. So they've both been locked away now. So I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 spots left to be confirmed for the Proto Star, which comes up on Saturday week, and it's really starting to take shape. We'll learn more after Saturday night with the Wayne Wilson Memorial Paleface Adios, but Ideal Frankie, Have-Time Major, they are definitely locked in.
What about Don Hunter?
Don Hunter, he was sparkling in his trial today, won by 30 3/4 metres, and he stopped the clock at 152.8. So he's going to represent Kingstead Lodge, which is Tony LaCastro, Luke McCarthy's trainer-driver. He's a very talented horse, there's no question about it. He finished off in 54.5, 27.5, 27 flat. So just a familiarisation with the track. He handled it perfectly. So he'll start on Saturday week, Don Hunter.
It's what a race the Proto Star is shaping up to
yep.
be. Do you have some information on Savage Seas?
Yeah, Savage Seas was one that was being considered. Well, I know Ben Crosby was hopeful that Savage Seas would get picked up for a spot in the Proto Star. They've shelved those plans now. So he's a last start winner of the Breeders' Classic. They're going to focus on the upcoming feature in August with him, which is the Group 1 Triad. So they're going with the original plan. They were hopeful that, he would be secured for a spot in the Proto Star. It didn't pan out, but they're going to push on now and aim towards the Group 1 Triad. And he looks a very exciting prospect, full brother of the likes of Captain Shuffles, Frankie Ferocious, last start feature race winner. So keep an eye out for him, Savage Seas.
What about I Keep Smiling? She trialled nicely today ahead of her upcoming mares features.
Yep, she'll start Saturday week. That's in the Fleur de Lille. The big target comes up the following Saturday, the final night of the carnival. That will be the Golden Girl, and she's the title holder of that race. She's the fastest mare ever to race at Albion Park, and she was sparkling in her trial on Tuesday afternoon. 152, splits of 28.3, 30.2, 27.7, 26.1. So she'll start Saturday week, and she's going to be very hard to beat in any mare's race that she goes around in.
Now, unfortunately, Scott Hewitt had a win on Saturday night, but he's had some bad news after that.
Yeah, so got the win with I Am Hellbound. I Am Hellbound, full steam ahead to Saturday night's feature, the Great Square, but he's based down the Gold Coast, Kira Way, he's based down there near the Tweed. The car was stolen on Monday night, so unbelievable. So if you sort of know of any sort of Land Cruiser that fits the description of Scotty and Bree's car, give him a shout out because, that was just really unfortunate, really unlucky. So hopefully luck will be on his side this Saturday night, and if he picks up this Group 1 feature, that just might make things a little bit better for them.
Definitely. Some more unfortunate news. Gary Bond, he had a nasty incident.
It was just a freak accident, Taylor.
Yeah.
Redcliffe last Friday night, he was at the start, got out of the bike just to make some last-minute gear alterations. His horse took fright or took exception to another horse coming nearby, and she just lashed out, and unfortunately, wrong spot, wrong time for Gary. So right in the top part of the leg, that femur area. So he's going to be out of action for some time. He's been operated on. We're just wishing Gary a really speedy recovery. So it looks like it'll be a number of months, but we're just hopeful that everything goes A-OK in his recovery because he's been driving really well. His partner, Alex Johnson, they've got schooners absolutely flying at the moment. She's going to go around on Saturday night in the Southeast Oaks, so he is hoping that might be a little tonic for him.
Sending our best wishes to Gary and Alex. Now, we have a few events coming up during the carnival. Start with the Legends Lunch, Chris.
Yeah, so that's going to take place on the Friday, right here at Albion Park, the day before the grand final. So there's going to be some key speakers, some Inter-Dominion legends, Natalie Rasmussen, Tim Butt, Vic Frost. They're all locked in. So if you want to attend this function, contact the club, contact you, and it's going to be a big, big day, that one. That's the Friday, the day before the Inter-Dominion Grand Final. That same week, I think it's the Monday, the big golf day down at Meadowbrook. So if you're a keen golfer, an avid golfer, and you want to have a bit of a hit and see all the guys out there, some of the girls as well, contact the club again, get yourself a little group, and you can go and have a bit of a game of golf on the Monday before the grand final.
And the Inter-Dominion Barrier Draw will also follow that golf. So,
Yeah, and the Calcutta comes up after the Legends Lunch as well.
Yes.
So it's a big week the last week. So if you want to get to those functions, contact the club.
And you can also secure your tickets on thecreek.com.au/Inter-Dominion. I think that's all we have this week.
It's finally arrived, so the next 3 weeks, it's going to be absolutely sensational. Looking
That's for
forward to
sure.
night one. Can't wait to see. Hopefully the Queenslanders stand tall. Love to see Leap to Fame and the Janitor Dead Heat. And I'd like to see Gus win his opening round heat of the Trotting Series. So they're the horses to beat, so wish them all the very best of luck.
If you can join us trackside, make sure you do. I'll see you in the bistro on
See you
Saturday
there.
night.